Assalamualaikum everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today we'll discuss the summary of third part of novel Twilight in Delhi. So let's start. Chapter 1. Soon after the coronation, the preparations for Asghur's marriage went on faster. Only 15 days were left. The guests began to arrive one by one. Everyone was busy in preparation of wedding. 3 days before the wedding, the bride's dress and things were sent to Bilqis's house. The near female relations of Asghur went indoors to Mirza Shahbaz's house. Everyone was extremely happy. All the customs and traditions were being followed one by one. At about 1 o'clock in the morning, the bride people arrived for engagement ceremony. They all were having fun, but then there was a fight between bride and groom side. Habibuddin came to rescue and the things were settled. At the end, the utana was brought out. They all smeared it on each other. Chapter 2. The day of the wedding arrived. The time fixed for wedding was 10 o'clock, but they started at 11:30. They reached at bride's house. Then there was competition between Shafila and Channu, as who will sit on the Asghur's horse. Channu from bride's side won it. There were at least 1,000 guests at the wedding. The hak mahar of Bilqis was 50,000 rupees. After about 2 hours, Asghur was called inside, introduced to Bilqis. The departure of the bride was pain for everyone. The next morning, the ceremony of seeing bride's face took place. After that, all the people threw color on each other. The guests stayed for a week after the wedding for other ceremonies and talk. Chapter 3. After the marriage, Asghur was happy. Bilqis was quite shy, but she was also very happy. Preparations were now going on for Mehru's marriage. Saeed Hassan was rejected and Begum Wahid had stayed on. Bilqis also helped other women for her wedding preparations. One evening, Asghur brought fine green satin for Bilqis. They both were happy with their lives. Chapter 4. Bilqis had become pregnant, was nearly always ill. Asghur was also happy. He thought of bringing up his son and taking care of him. He gave a pair of English shoes to Bilqis and asked her to wear it on Mehru's wedding. The party arrived from Bhopal one day before the wedding, and when they saw the groom, they were quite unhappy. He was ugly, and had a ferocious eyes of a madman. One part of his face was disfigured, and one ear was missing. Mir wasn't agreed to make him his son-in-law, but due to the advice of Habibuddin he agreed. When Mehru saw Miraj, she was very sad, but she accepted her fate. Inside the Zanana, the women said bad things after seeing Bilqis's English shoes. Bilqis told this to Asghur. He also felt bad and asked her that as soon as he got a job, they will live in a separate house. Chapter 5. Habibuddin asked Asghur for a job in government, but Asghur refused to it. Asghur wanted to go into business. His friend Bari had suggested they should start their own business. They thought of various things, but none of them had any experience. So they gave up all thought of it, but Asghur got a good job in a big Indian firm through Mirza Shahbaz Beg's influence. A baby girl was born at Asghur's house. He was disappointed at the news. The baby was given the name of Zehanara. On the 3rd day of Bakra Eid, when Zehanara was a month and half old, Mirza Shahbaz Beg died. Bilqis was half dead with grief, but Begum Shahbaz Beg wasn't affected that much. Asghur took a house adjoining of Begum Shahbaz and began to live with his wife there. One morning, Saeed Hassan came to Asghur's house. He didn't like Asghur's house fully furnished with English furniture, but Asghur said to himself that every new thing is looked upon with suspicion and ridicule. Chapter 6. It was now 1913. During the December of previous year, a bomb had been thrown at Lord Hardinge when he had held the imitation Darbar. Many changes were being done to Delhi. The 7th Delhi had fallen along its builder, Shah Jahan. Now the 8th was under construction, and the people predicted that the fall of its builders would follow soon. Mir Nihal along with his friends was sad at the present situation of Delhi, but at that time his grandchildren were the source of delight for him. His servant Ghafoor had been married last year to Sheikh Muhammad Sadiq's niece, but the girl had died within 6 months of marriage. Since Ghafoor had become a little quiet. Chapter 7. Zehanara was about a year and a half old. She was a source of happiness to her mother, but Asghur had become indifferent. Bilqis's younger sister Zohra spent days with her and Begum Shahbaz ofte came, but still she was sad due to Asghar's coldness. Begum Jamal and Begum Shahbaz both had noticed this. Asghar was more interested in the maidservant than Bilqis. Chapter 8. Then the war came, and those who had been conquered were going to fight for the conquerors, lay down their lives for 12 or 8 rupees a month. Myra's shop became the contra of gossip. The kabarbi, the barber and others collected there at night and talked of the war, how it progressed, and of new and deadly inventions and starvation. Chapter 9. One evening Mir Nihal was coming home from the house of Nawab Putta. Unconsciously he felt the changes that had been made with Dehali. His head became heavy, he stopped for a while to regain his balance. During the prayer he suddenly felt his body become heavier. He couldn't maintain his balance and fell. Ghaffur rushed to his help. He told Dilchan about it. After a while the Hakim checked Mir Nihal, but didn't charge anything. Mir Nihal's right side had become paralyzed. The days and months passed. He got treatment from various Hakims, but a little progress in his health was seen. Chapter 10. Begum Nihal felt very sorry her husband. She prepared his medicines herself and cooked food for him, but her own sight was failing her. One day she fell from the stairs. Now she was more conscious about stairs. She didn't go anywhere except to Asghar's house. Asghar had found other interests and had relations with other women, but he was attached to Zahanara now. Bilqis's condition wasn't good now. She even sometimes had terrible dreams. Chapter 11. One night in January Bilqis lay on her bed in the room. Somehow Asghar felt so affectionate about her and sat by her. They had a conversation and Asghar felt really sorry for her. He asked her to forgive him, and this little gesture by him made her happy. In the morning Asghar called Dr. Mitra. He examined her and told him that she is suffering from TB. The weather was fine in February and March. Asghar paid more attention to his wife and talking and playing with his daughter. So that's all for today's video. The summary of last part of the novel will be uploaded soon. Till then, like, share and subscribe to my channel, and Allah Hafiz.